This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com in review, and what I'm looking at today is 2016's Terrifier, directed by Damien Leone. And as I've said before, I don't tend to like movies featuring clowns as antagonists. I don't think clowns in general are particularly funny, and I don't think of them as scary as well. Though there is a soft spot in my heart for Tim Curry's Pennywise, which by my reckoning is the creepiest clown in cinema. I have yet to see anything that tops it. And the reason for that is that he is alternately creepy and endearing. He embodies the qualities of an actual clown, which is to say he's entertaining. He's even funny at times, and that is important to me because unlike the version of Pennywise in the recent It movies, he's not always creepy looking. The clown in the movies always looks off, and for me that doesn't work particularly well. While Pennywise oftentimes looks like a clown until he doesn't, and that's where the fear comes in, so he works really well. I was watching Inked, one of my favorite YouTube channels, when I saw this.
Like I know a lot of people live for like the gore and horror, so I started watching Terrorizer, and then there's one part of the movie where he's got her like chained up and he saws like straight through the vag, and at that point is where I turned the movie off. Like, I'm sorry, but that is like, people that enjoy that shit, you might be a little bit of a sick like, I'm glad you like that, but that is not for me. I don't like it. You're sawing through vages, I'm out. Like that's where I'm checking out on it.
Which struck me as hilarious. So I was at least a little more interested in catching Terrifier. And having seen it, it is hilarious. Darkly funny, but hilarious. And that's what I want from a movie which features a clown as an antagonist. I don't want a clown-based horror movie to be overly grim and sinister, because it doesn't work for clowns. At least I don't think it does. So with Art the Clown, he looks really off, and I'm not crazy about his look, but the way he acted, it was very funny, and he acted like a clown. Now keep in mind, Damien Leone's movie makes no real sense. You don't know why Art does what he does, you don't know how he does what he does, other than he is pretty prolific at murder, and nothing is quite explained to you. Now, it's also worth mentioning that the opening of Terrifier doesn't really make sense. Though you have to keep in mind, and you'll only know this after watching it, is that you're watching events unfold in the past. Which is to say, when you see Art doing his thing, it has already happened. And when you know that, or if you know that going in, it actually makes more sense than what happened in the movie. And I wish that it would have somehow made allowances for that. But in any case, it is, as I said, really funny. And as much as I cringed, I laughed. And that works for me for this type of film. And the effects are very much practical. And indeed, someone is cut in half. That's not quite the way the tattooer on Ink put it, but it does happen, and it's a glorious physical effect. And this is what I like to call cartoon violence. It is so silly, and it's as if the person doesn't have bones. And that's why I can't take it too seriously. First off, it's not done in a serious fashion. Though, even if it were, it's ludicrous. I've never cut a person in half, but I'm reasonably certain all the bones in our bodies would make doing it with a hacksaw extremely difficult to do. It is possible, of course, but it would take a long time, and it wouldn't have been done almost as a joke as it was done in Terrifier. It is ridiculous, some of the things he does. And what's kind of interesting is that I believe the character of Art the Clown was not introduced in Terrifier. He was introduced a few years earlier in a movie called All Hallows Eve, also by Damien Leone. So I'm really curious to see All Hallows Eve, to see how Art plays, and maybe to get a better understanding. And let's be absolutely clear, by a lot of metrics, Terrifier is not a great movie. And you probably noticed I didn't mention the story, because frankly it doesn't matter. You have these two women who are out drinking. They happen to encounter Art. Art tracks them down and kills them. These aren't characters. They're just outlines of characters. You don't particularly care for them, and you're there more to see what Art does to them. And accepting that fact and not expecting any more from this movie than it's willing to give, it's really enjoyable. Could it have been better written? Could the characters have been more fleshed out? Could Art the Clown make more sense? Of course he could, and he should have, but he didn't, because that's not what the director is trying to achieve. And as I said earlier, the movie, if you watch it all the way through, Art makes a little more sense. It's still not quite clear, but some of his more prodigious feats of regeneration at least make more sense. And it's a lot of fun. I didn't expect to enjoy this movie nearly as much as I have. If you haven't seen Terrifier, it's currently on Hulu. And this is Brian with ScreenFiles.com in review. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. And as usual, consider a like or a follow. Peace.